Hi, this is Nick from Nick and Tom Tech and Learning, and today we're doing the free class on demystifying Microsoft Excel. This is the first portion of our 1 hour class. If you want more resources, have any questions, please reach out to us at help@ntlearning.ca or message me here. So let's get started. So who am I? My name is Nick. I've been in the IT industry for 20 years, worked with companies such as Fully Managed, SAB Technologies, BCLC, worked on contracts for R2 Gaming, ExxonMobil. I've done a lot in my career, and a lot of my career has been the training component of it, teaching people how to use new software, new technologies, and especially what changes between updates. So, for today, we are covering the warm-up. We're going to review the core concepts of Microsoft Excel, and we will do the materials calculator. Everything else is going to be for our full 1 hour class, which you can join us. Either come in during the day, it's $40, or during one of our registered evening classes, it's $35. By the whole series, there is a discount as well. It is a series of 4 classes. And each goes a little bit deeper into the software, ending with stuff like ODBC and remote data. So, vocabulary you'll need to know for this class. So the workbook is the current page that you're working on. At the bottom, there's usually 2 or 3 tabs. Those are different workbooks that you can jump between if you have different, say you're doing a page for different years. You can jump back and forth between different years using those tabs, using a lot of the same equations you've used previously. And there are mechanisms in place for you to be able to duplicate and copy those pages. We'll get into that a little bit in the larger class. The sheet is the current sheet that you're working on, so that's the page with the X and Y. A column is a vertical set of those boxes. You can put equations in each box and then target one of the above or below boxes for your equation. We'll be doing that a lot with the calculator exam today. Not exam. A row, same thing, only horizontal. You can target any of the boxes in the row, and it's just each one of those boxes is just a little segment equation. A cell is a single box where you can put an equation in or a number. And if we want to directly reference something, we're going to use the $sign. Now, this will all be explained in the example project that we're going to go through today. So, one other thing you'll need to know is how to do math. Math does not use the same symbols that you're used to. Plus and minus are exactly the same. Everything else is a bit different. For example, to divide, you use the forward slanted line instead of the division symbol. Multiply is the star. That's the one above the 8. To get that, you hit Shift 8. Addition is plus sign. As you know, subtraction is minus. To get the remainder of an equation, let's say 5 divided by 2, you use the percent sign, which you'd figure the percent sign would equal a percentage of something, but nope. In mathematics, and specifically computer mathematics, the percent sign is a remainder. So, the menu along the very top, so home, insert, share, page layout, those are your tabs, and they affect what is on the ribbon. This allows you to control various things. For example, if you want to change the page layout, do automatic formulas, look at your data tables, generate tables, that will change your ribbon to allow you to do all those functions. The ribbon is just below it. In this one, it has the font, so Apatas narrow, 11 units large, and your text fonts and all that stuff. That's all on the ribbon in the picture there. Right below that, you'll see an X, question mark, and an FX. Right to the right of that is your equation editor. That allows you to edit the contents of whatever cell you've selected. So you can go back and revise and change stuff without having to remake the entire equation in that cell. And then, of course, the workbook is the grid of horizontal rows and vertical. So to explain everything that we've just gone through, we're going to create a materials calculator project. I'm going to be running this how I would generate a sheet normally. If say I have a customer request they want a quick Excel sheet that just does this. It needs to be, within an hour they need it back. So this is how I would plan it out. So first, I'd figure out exactly what I want on the sheet. What pieces of data does the customer require? For this one, it's going to be for a laser engraver. So we're looking at what's the name of the item, what's the raw cost of all of the goods. Let's say they're doing tumblers in there. And what's the raw good cost of everything there? So if they get packs of like 8 and they can get them for $10, we put $10 in there. How many can be done at once is how many can our machine handle? How many hours does it take to complete a single run of that? And then how much are we looking to get per hour just out of labor? And then also, what's the energy cost for the region? Then we have our raw inputs cost is a total of everything there. We have our GST, TST, and total cost. I figure for the start, that's good enough. But then I start thinking and figure, maybe we might need something else. So how would we do that? So if we need to insert an item, it's just right-click the cell where you want to insert it above, select. Sorry, 1 second. Right-click, select it, and then there'll be an insert. Hit insert, and then hit one row above or one row below, and it will insert the line either above and below. If you have any equations that are calling on the cells above and below that aren't direct reference, it will recalculate everything. So those references will stay the same, no matter how many new cells you add in. However, if you put a $sign before both the rows, so the B and the 4, that will not change. That will always reference column B4. Just keep that in mind. If you are adding new rows, if you have any direct references, you will need to update that. We'll get into that a bit later in this example. So let's start entering our data. So we can, let's say for the mugs, we have a raw goods cost. It costs us $20 to get 100 blank mugs. We put them in. So we put our raw goods cost as $20. We have 100 that we get per purchase. Now for our raw goods cost per unit, all we need to do is go, what's a raw goods cost divided by how many? So in this example, to do that, we use the equal sign. The equal sign allows us to set an equation to that cell. So equals C3 / C4 is C3, so that's C3, that's 20, divided by C4, which is 100. And when we hit enter, that will give us a cost of 20 cents per, per coaster, not mug. So that's all good, but the raw goods cost per unit is still showing 2 instead of 20. How do we fix that? We want to see 20 cents, right? So if we select the cell and right-click and select Format, that brings up the Format window to the right. We can then change what category the cell is under, and that'll give us some more options for how we want to display it. If you select, for example, number, it will usually do to 2 decimal. And that's all we're looking for. So if we select number, then the next page, you can see we have 20 cents like we were looking. So let's keep filling the raw data. We can do 12 at once in our laser engraver. It takes 2 hours to complete one cycle. We want to get 35 bucks an hour for our labor cost, and our energy cost is at 12 cents per kilowatt hour. Probably not going to be doing a full kilowatt, but it's good to put something for energy costs so we have something added to the equation just in case. Now we've got our raw data, we need to calculate how to do our raw inputs. So again, we have our raw goods cost per unit is 20. We can do 12 at a time. So the start of our equation is C5, which is 20 cents, and C6, which is 12. C5 times C6 plus, then we're going to do a brackets to make sure that this part of the equation is encapsulated. We have C7, which is 2 hours it takes to complete, and C8, we're looking for $35 an hour. And then finally, plus C7, it takes 2 hours, and then how many kilowatt hours? So 0.12, 24 kilowatts, or 0.24 kilowatts. So we add that all into our raw inputs good cost, and then we hit enter. And that gives us $72.64 is our expected cost for 12 at that point, factoring everything we want in. Now, this is also assuming that you're not going to add markup. We just want to know what our blunt cost is. So for GST, it's, 5%. So C11 times 0.05 gets us our GST. After that, 7%, same thing. So it will be C11 times 0.01 or 007, not 11, 007. And finally, we total everything into the equation down here. So equals C11 plus C12 plus C13. And one of those values changes, it will automatically update it. Let's say we want to make this more rigid. We want to make it so that if a tax rate changes, all we have to do is change one number instead of messing with equations, stuff like that. Well, we can use a reference. So for this, GST is going to be the same for every calculator we need, right? So if we put for A2 and B2, GST for the label, and 0.05, we can then reference them. If we're putting a dollar sign in front of the column and the row, it will be stable no matter what happens to all of the other elements that are either being moved or copied. So in this example, for GST, we do equals C11 times $B, $2. And that will always be a direct reference to B2. So then, say we have another product. We want to make, the coffee mugs that we said before. Then all we have to do is select and copy C2 to D14. So if you hit Shift and select C2, hit Shift and select D14 with the Shift button still hit, you can copy all of those and hit Control C, move to where you want, click on, let's say, row 15 and Control V, and it will copy all those rows. Or rows, not roles. But the direct references will stay the same. So for example, the GST is still pointing to cell B2. If we hadn't done that direct reference with the $sign B, $2, it would now be pointed to B16. And you can do this however many times you want, into however many copies. Now, you can't reference another workbook, but you can reference stuff within the same sheet. Okay, so that covers the basic first project and what you need to get started. Now, our class goes a little bit more in depth. There's all kinds of handouts that come with it. If you give me 1 second here, I will show you what our handouts are. So, with the class, it's in-house. We have snacks, we have refreshments, free tea, free coffee, and you will get snazzy handouts that explain everything you need to know about this subject, including quick sort of demonstrations. Like, for example, here's the handout we have for Microsoft PowerPoint. This comes free with class as well. If you have any questions, please reach out to us at help@ntlearning.ca. We'll be able to answer any questions. There's a forum with the class, and there are additional goodies as well. Well, thank you for joining us for this small first class. I hope you join us someday in person. Thank you. Hope you have a good day. Bye now.